Welcome once again to the Jasper School Management System. In this portion of the video, we will be looking at the various functionalities made available to teachers in the school. So first of all, we will be logging in as a class teacher. So from here, we can see all the possible things the teacher can do. So first of all, we'll go with register students. So basically the teacher can register a student, put in the details, upload the picture, and then click on the add student button. If you want to know the number of students in your class, you can easily see the registered students in your class for this term. Okay, you can also edit student details by, for example, if you want to maybe remove a student's picture, remove a student entirely from the database if you want to upload a new picture for student, or you want to change the student's password, as the case may be. So that's one very much available functionality. Also, we will go back to check other functionalities, which is register subject. So basically the teacher can register different subjects for the class. So for example, we have this class has 21 subjects, so we want to add another one. Let's see. Okay, so when I click add this subject, what basically happens is that this new subject is added to one of the subjects that will be available on the system. Okay, it is still loading. It's taking a little while. Okay, so subject has been successfully registered. Okay, so if we check view summary, you can see sports education. Another thing we could do is to remove subjects registered. So for example, arts and crafts, once I click remove, it will automatically take out arts and crafts from the available subjects in that class for that particular term. Okay, subject has been successfully removed. If I click on view summary, there's no longer arts and crafts. Okay, so that's one functionality. Let's go ahead to another portion, which is the upload scores. So basically, how does this happen? I will check. Okay, for example, if I check, let me go to second term, check. Let me go to second term English, check. You can see that my students haven't taken the computer-based test, so they have no scores here. And this functionality is made available for subjects where it might be really difficult to have computer-based tests. So for example, maybe sports education. Okay, so what the teacher will need to do here is just to upload the scores, to fit in the scores for either tests or examination. Okay, so it's as simple as this. So what you do is to just click on the upload new score sheet, so automatically you have these scores uploaded. And so if also you need to add to the score of one of your students, e.g. we have Toy Samuel, we have Busola Oni. Okay, this is one of the students for who has 20. So what do? We add 5, add score, so automatically our score becomes 25, and so on and so forth. One good functionality in this system is If you have a student who was with you for one of the terms and then left for probably the second term, you the system has a way of sifting away such students. So we see we don't have first term, we have a student called Tumilara Oladipo, and then for the second term, if the student is out of the school, automatically the student goes away. We have another student coming in the second term called Toy. So that's one good functionality we have there. Then we go to the next functionality, which is to collate, or let's go to view report cards. So to view report cards, you need to click on this button, collate report cards, because if you do not click on collate, the scores you uploaded will not be collated into the new report sheet. So I collate for first term, and then what happens? So I click on view report card, and okay, view report card. Click on view report card. Okay, so for these students, this is his or her report card. Okay, it's very simple. And then at this juncture, I could print the student's report card. So back to another good feature is we can actually check the student's performance. So we could check the student performance in tests, exams, or even overall. So for example, let's check this student's performance for first term subject. Now this is very wonderful. So this is what happens. So we get to see the students in a very graphical or in a very pictorial manner. You could see the performance of this student in different subjects. So for example, it's easy for me to understand that this student is very good at vocational aptitude because the test scores are over 40 and he has 40 or 40. And then it's very easy for me graphically to know that in French he is not doing so well, and then in sport education he has 0. So what this basically does is gives me a very understandable view of the student's performance in different subjects. So I can also go ahead to check this same student's performance in examination. So we can see the examination is over 60 and this student is performing wonderfully well in social studies, in vocational aptitude. But then it's very easy to note that the student's performance in basic science is very poor, 24, and then in sports education. Okay, the reason the students having 0 in sports education is because this is a new subject that we just uploaded, and then the student hasn't taken any assessment on this subject. So this gives us a very good view and a very good understanding. Okay, so we'll go to another functionality, which is the attendance manager. The attendance functionality. So how does it work? Okay, so let's have a good view at this. So basically we choose the term in question. So let's say second term, you see the students. So what the teacher has to do is to go to a particular student whose details we have in our class. So for example, for this student, if this student is present on this day, you note this with a 1. If the student is absent, you note it with a 0. Okay, so you do the same for all the weeks. Okay, for all the weeks we already have this already uploaded for second term. Okay, so once we do upload the day's attendance, it automatically uploads, and then we can come here to check the statistics, okay, of this attendance. So what we do is, for example, second term, okay, we have this. Okay, so this is the attendance pattern for second term. So on Mondays you have the highest number of students, on Tuesdays and on Fridays again. so you can easily get the pattern of your students' presence in school. And then what do I mean by that? You can see that on Thursdays your students don't come to classes, so you can easily check this out. Okay, so I mean that's something very easy to to sort out. Okay, so that is the pattern of students coming to class. Okay, so let's move on to another functionality, which is the notice manager. So the notice manager, how does it work? Simply, the notice is sent out by the head teacher at displayed here automatically. So you remember the notice we uploaded by the head teacher was addressed to all employees. So therefore, every employee, be it the accountant, the librarian, the teacher, every employee that opens their notice manager will see the message sent by the head teacher, and then you can see the category. Very important. Okay, so to the last functionality available to the teacher, which is set questions. So as a teacher you can easily set questions, because your students can take computer-based tests on this Jasper school management system. So for example, we're setting, let's try and set, we have to set the parameters required. So for example, we have marks per question 6 marks, enrollment key, let's say this, total number of questions 10, number of minutes 2 minutes. No, wait, let's make it 1 minute. Okay, so we click start setting question. Okay, so what happens is that if you already have questions in the database, for this enrollment key it tells you how many you have. So you currently have 10 questions in the database for first term basic science with enrollment key of this QWERTY. Okay, so if you want to add more questions you can add more, but remember you set the parameter for the exam to be a minimum of 10 questions in the database, meaning if the students go to write this exam now, they will be able to take the test because you have already 10 minimum questions. Okay, so you can review the questions you have in the database already. Okay, you can see all the questions you have in the database. If you need to edit any question, you simply have to use the hash code number of the question. Okay, so for example, I want to edit this question with the hash code number 3. So what do? I go to edit question, hash code number 3, let's check. Okay, so what is the name of the president of Nigeria? And definitely the president of Nigeria has changed and is now Muhammadu. Okay, so my answer is now B. So what do? I submit the edited question. If you click on review and you go to question with the hash code number 3, you can see the new option. Okay, so that's that for that. You can also check to see questions that have diagrams attached to them. So for example, we have question, see, put the hash code number 9, and you click on check. We have no diagram, hash code number 10, we have a diagram attached to it. So this is just to check diagrams attached to different questions. Other things you could do is to delete a question. You simply enter the hash code number of the question and then you click on check and then you click on delete this question. Okay, so that's basically that for setting questions as a class teacher. Okay, so click on end and that is it. So that is about everything that the class teacher can do on the Jasper school management system. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. ahead.